Should college athletes be paid? Some of you might know Inky Johnson. He was a highly recruited football player who played for Tennessee. Inky grew up in a neighborhood in Atlanta that was surrounded by crime, drugs, and violence. He lived his whole life in a small two-bedroom house that 14 other people also lived in. The house only had one mattress, so Inky had to sleep on the decaying floor that was covered with mice and roaches. As Inky got older, he became a football star. He grinded every night. Inky often told the people he lived with that he would make it to the NFL and get them out of the trap. Eventually, he was offered a scholarship to play at Tennessee. On his visit to Tennessee, the coaches had planned to take Inky around campus and show him some cool stuff and take him to a game. But Inky declined when they were there, though. He told the coaches that he preferred to just go to the hotel and sleep because he had never gotten to sleep in a bed to himself. Over time, Inky became a great football player. His goal of being able to take care of his family was getting closer. One day, Inky got a call that he was projected to be a first-round draft pick in less than a year, and that he would be a millionaire. Inky called home and told his family that they didn't have to struggle much longer. During one of his last college games, Inky made a routine tackle that turned into a traumatic injury. He had to be rushed into immediate surgery or else he would have died. Once Inky woke from surgery, the doctors told him that he would never be able to play football again. Inky had to call back home one more time. He apologized to his family, saying that he's sorry he wasn't going to be able to help them with their struggles. If the NCAA was allowed to pay college athletes, then Inky would have been able to pay his family before his career ended. There's a picture of Inky for you. Okay, my first visual aid is a picture you can see. There's the amount of money that colleges spend on scholarships, and up here's the amount of money that they spend on just their athletics. So, for most universities, their athletics department generates the majority of their income. According to an article by Mark Edelman, there are more than 5 schools that have reported to generate over $50 million a year in revenue just through sports. This is an incredible amount of money to be made just by college athletes. Texas A&M alone makes about $74 million a year just from the football program. The people who earn this money are the athletes who are working hard day and night. According to Business Insider, Division I sports programs brought in a total of $9.15 billion throughout 2015. The athletes that earned all this money will not see a dime of it. For smaller schools, they often get the opportunity to earn a lot more money just by playing one game against a larger school. For example, according to an article by Ted Tatos, he states that Tulane received $1.94 million just to play a single football game against Auburn. With as much money as these athletes generate for their schools, it makes no sense that they never see a dollar of this money that they've earned. Here you can see athletic departments with their income. Alabama's top, they have about $18 million a year. Okay. For college athletes, their sport is more than just an extracurricular activity for them. According to Forbes, the average college athlete devotes over 43 hours a week to their sport. The typical American work week is only 40 hours. These college athletes are expected to spend this much time just on their sports, as well as go to classes, study, and have a social life. According to an article by Kenneth Cooper, student athletes do not get to choose whatever major they would like if the classes interfere with their practice time. When Andrew Luck was at Stanford, he said he was forced by their program to change his major because the time he had classes interfered with their team training time. There's a picture of Andrew Luck for you so you can see him. Most sports teams have to travel often and go to different cities to play games. This is especially true for basketball and baseball players. They have to play multiple games a week in different cities. Because of this, they are not able to attend their classes. And for college athletes, the graduation rate is 23% lower than regular students because they do not have enough time to balance sports and social life and studying. Student athletes seem to have no time for anything due to sports. Along with having no time to have a job, most of these student athletes live in poverty. About 86% of college athletes live below the poverty line. Most of these college athletes can't afford to feed themselves. Tons of athletes complain yearly to the NCAA because they don't have enough time to get a job to pay for their meals. And most athletic scholarships do not include the cost of meals for the athlete. Most college students are able to get a job to pay for their tuition, housing, food. Athletes simply do not have enough time to be able to get a job to pay for all this stuff. Some people argue this by saying that these athletes are being dramatic because they're getting their education paid through scholarships. It seems as if playing a sport in college without receiving pay just isn't worth it. And although Inky Johnson did not get the big bucks from the NFL, he became an entrepreneur and has earned over $1 million in his lifetime, and he backed up his promises to his family and got them out of the hood.